It's difficult to figure out such a big personality as the one of Friedrich Nietzsche, the unfamous and famous German philosopher. I mean, he's perhaps the most interesting philosopher to read alongside Schopenhauer. At least that's my opinion. Because they have insights that are rooted in experience, not only abstract thoughts. And they manage to figure out a lot of things regarding our intuition and our viscerality, our instincts. Nietzsche maybe more than Schopenhauer. And I've stumbled recently upon a video in which someone, I don't wanna criticize him, but he kind of labeled the writer of Fast Spoke Zarathustra as a loser. And the he was trying to back up his claim by the fact that he never married and that he used to frequent hookers to satisfy his needs, and that he was rejected by some women known in the history of literature, the first being Cosmina, Wagner's wife, whose hand he asked for after the composer died, and she refused. And the second one was Salome. Yeah. Who also didn't want to tie up her destiny with his. But I think it's an exaggeration to destroy someone's reputation only judging by the fact that he was rejected. We all get rejected. And the more we value someone, the more painful it is to be brushed aside. And that's part of life. And of course, that can damage your ego when you are a philosopher of the stature of Nietzsche. But you know how it is. They also criticized him that he had a bad opinion about women, and that was only that was a result of the fact that he didn't manage to fulfill his love life. And perhaps there is some truth to that. That maybe he's most famous for his quote that says, "If you want to visit women, you better bring your whip." And it sounds harsh, but there is a truth to that. Because some of them want to feel that you are strong, and they like deep down the idea that you are stronger than them and that you can protect them. But that's a very tricky subject, and talking about it, it's similar to walking on moving sand, especially on YouTube. But I've always have been more or less crazy, so I'll do it, especially because I don't have a lot of viewers, so nobody can cancel me, even if I say unpleasant things concerning the opposite gender. However, he wasn't always like that. In his youth, he was a supporter of the movement of the women's emancipation. So he was quite liberal. But I think it's oversimplifying to just categorize him as a loser, even if he didn't work for most of his life and he gained his living off a pension that he kept receiving from his first workplace after he joined the army in the war between Germany and France, during which he was shocked and disappointed in everything. But that's how it happens when you are young and you have ideals. Sooner or later, they get shattered. But as he grew older, his opinions also changed when it comes to life, and that you must embrace power and to act. He actually came against his idol from youth, Schopenhauer, who was an advocate of Buddhism and who thought that everything is futile, ambition and desires included. And he believed him in when he was young, but once his health deteriorated, his organism as a balancing movement started to emphasize the importance of health and of virility in a large sense, not only sexual. And so his ideas concerning women became more radical, so to speak. But that happens to all of us. Once you begin to understand in a certain way that primarily we are not out of the jungle on this planet yet, and that our instincts are still exceedingly strong, and we are wired to propagate strength and symmetry on a large scale, then you understand that that's how it is. He was right about women. It doesn't mean that there are no exceptions. Uh, it's not a bad thing, but that's how it is. They are more emotional than us, and they listen to their gut more often than men. And in a lot of situations, you need to show resolve and conviction and some brutality, not on a physical level, in order to persuade them and reassure them. So, yeah, that's how it is. It doesn't mean he was a loser because of that. And I'm sure he had a lot of women willing to marry him. Of course, not as intelligent as Wagner's wife, or as Salome, who also met Freud in her later years, and who eventually married someone, I forgot whom, but who had a very keen intelligence and who shared Nietzsche's views in a lot of ways. And most probably she formulated them by herself, meaning that she had a very powerful and acute mind, and that's what made him become fascinated about her, and that's the Achilles weakness when it comes to philosophers and men who like to engage in intellectual conversations. They become so utterly bored by regular people that they idealize those who can entertain their curiosity in a sustained manner. And that's a very big vulnerability, because they depend and their options are limited, and it's a trait that makes your life hard. And besides that, he enjoyed solitude, Nietzsche, and he was known to have said that great ideas come in your hours of solace, or something similar. And that's also spot on. And a lot of females, at least at first glance, frown upon those who like to be alone. Again, because it's difficult to survive where you do not join the pack. Of course, there are different views, and there are individualities who can spot those who think in an original manner, but on a large scale, that's how it is. If you don't have a strong circle of connections, it's more difficult for you to get by in this life. And of course, after you get to know someone, you can give up on this preconceived notions. But on an apparent level, that's how things work. And if he lived in our day and age, given his extraordinarily knack for formulating concise quotes, very deep, he would have been extremely famous on Twitter or maybe on YouTube. His following would have been big, I think. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, actually. Because not a lot of people are prone to value deep insights. So that's questionable. But at least he would have had the potential to become viral if he put himself to it. And he also was not a nihilist. But I'll make a video about this another time.